Welcome back to the Of Butterflies and Things YouTube channel, where I'm talking with Arvin, the ball-jointed doll artist, about... Today actually we're talking about how to communicate with doll companies. So let's get started. So Arvin, what if I need to talk to a doll company?
Well, it's a very broad way of saying that the doll companies are all different. You have the Japanese, Korean and Chinese doll companies, and you have also doll artists, which are going to be all kinds of nationalities. But if you want to talk to a Japanese doll company, forget it.
There's no communication with them.
It's very complicated, and there is only one big Japanese doll company that's bought a doll company, and they've basically solved the problem, because it is a problem, by having a subsidiary in the US. So you talk to the US subsidiary.
Okay, well that sounds a lot easier.
And what you can talk to them about is where's my order, when's stuff coming, and all these kind of things. Nothing more complicated than that.
No special orders, no... Yeah. Okay.
Korean companies you can also talk to. They will they will be Koreans speaking English, and you'll have to realize that that's very difficult for them, and they may not always grasp the first time, that especially if you're asking something complicated or something they don't expect, they may not grasp it the first time round. There could be a couple of reasons for it. Either it's something they've never done before, nobody ever asked before, or it's something they maybe you asking them something they can't do, which is going to fluster them, because in the East, for Koreans and Chinese, it's rude to say no to a customer. You can't really do it. So
we're talking culturally, they're not really allowed to say, or they're not actually allowed to say no to a customer, so they have to say it in another way, and that may not be something we understand, because we expect a yes or a no.
Yes, and if you keep pressing, then a Korean will say no in the end, if it's something they simply cannot do for various reasons. Chinese person is even more difficult, because not allowed to say no, or very seriously not allowed to say no. Okay. So they even when pressed, they won't say no. What will happen is, and I've seen this happen, is that they will stop answering.
Yeah.
So
the ceasing of communication probably means they can't do it, they can't do what you want, and they're not allowed to tell you.
Exactly.
Culturally, it's just not okay for them to say that they can't do it.
Yeah, and then the problem is that culturally here and in the US, not saying no is a big no-no.
Yeah.
You have to, if you're going to say no,
clear.
It's not clear. You will need to be clear, and so there's a lot of miscommunication that I see happening between, especially Chinese companies and Western customers, where there's a complaint that they don't write back from China, and then I ask, well, what did you ask them? Well, I asked them to cast the doll in green. And I say, you know, this company doesn't do casting in different colors.
Yeah.
You asked that, and
you asked them something that they can't do. But they're not allowed to say no, we can't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the fact that they didn't answer then actually meant you're not supposed to understand that that's a no.
Yes. You understand.
But we as Westerners are waiting for an answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that frustrates us. So
hard,
it's especially if you start to do complicated things. One of the companies that does complicated things is Miro Doll, and that people will order from Miro Doll like 5 dolls in 5 different colors with. I don't know, 5 different heads on these dolls, and somebody will say, oh, can you sand down the neck because I'm going to put another head on it or something. You're asking a lot of things from a company like that, and there's a point where you can actually over ask them, and then they will also stop talking to you.
And where are they located?
They are in China, Miro Doll is in China,
right. But they seem to be more willing to do custom-made things.
Yes, they're willing to do whatever it is they can do, which is quite a lot. Not every company is willing to do that because every time you do something special, is that much risk of making a dud doll and not being able to sell it. That's why Miro actually has a section of a clearance section where all these duds end up in.
Well, there could be some interesting items in there.
Yes, oh yes, indeed. But it's a risk they take, and they take that. But comes a point where when they're simply over-asked.
Right.
And the communication on that doesn't happen properly. You have to, as a Westerner, you have to realize, okay, when they write something back where you can obviously they didn't understand what you said in the first place. That happens, but not with Miro, with any company. If you ask three things in one mail, and you don't get an answer back, that doesn't mean that all the three things are off the table, but it means that maybe one of them is, and they can't answer you because for the other two because you put it all in one mail. Yeah.
So best to just write one
item in one mail.
One subject per mail, even if you have 3 to deal with right now. Best to just do 3 mails. Yes. And keep it short, concise, and possibly use plain language.
Plain language and no compound sentences. Cause and effect. Make cause and effect really clear, especially in Korea, because cause and effect in the language itself. And I've learned that some Korean, no way I can actually do more than talk my way around where do I go and get something to order. But it's clear that causality in Korean is completely backwards from how we want it.
And can you say what you mean by cause and effect?
If you have the sentence, I'm going to the market to buy apples because I want to make a cake.
So there's a because in the middle that connects
the
reason why you went to the market.
Yes. And then in Korean that would have to be, you'd have to put the reason first.
Yeah.
They need to reason
I
first.
I needed those apples.
No, I make a cake. That's why I need it. It's a compound sentence in 3 pieces. There's me going to the market. There's the apples that need to be bought and the cake that's being made.
Yeah.
So you want to hear first. I'm
making a cake.
I'm planning to make a cake. For this, I need apples. Yeah. To get apples, I need to go to the market.
So they expect you to talk about. I have this doll. It is missing eyes. Can you have suitable eyes for my doll?
Yes.
Instead of saying, I would like some eyes that would really fit nicely with my doll.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah.
And then you have to remember that I actually put it my sentence quite simply. But if the real Korean sentence would be something like this, and please, you can shudder now. Me being a cake making person. Me being a cake making person needs apples, and that's why I'm planning to go to the market.
Right.
This is how a Korean sentence would actually look like, roughly. So, without checking my teacher, but it's roughly.
Translating back to my I need those eyes for my doll is me being the doll owner.
Being a doll owning person.
Me being a doll owning person. For this doll of this specifics, I need matching eyes.
Yeah. Or the doll being an eye-needing doll.
And that's how an eye-needing doll needs eyes. So that's what how Korean is structured.
Yes.
So if I were to actually request those eyes, I would now write, I own this doll.
Yes.
This doll has this need. It could be because of color or whatever. I say why it is I need and then I need eyes. Do you have?
Yes.
So keep it really simple.
Keep it
and top down.
Top down.
Describe the situation.
One thing per sentence. This is a little extreme. But sometimes if communication breaks down and you start to realize that you're just asking your questions are just too complicated, and you have to simplify it. But you will run into the point where the thing you are asking is actually not possible.
Yes.
And in the end, the Korean will tell you. So, but the Korean doll companies are a lot less flexible than the Chinese, especially Miro Doll. Miro Doll is they're Mr. Flexi. That has the advantage that you can get all kinds of different things. The disadvantage is that you will run into more of a point where you're asking something they can't do.
Yeah.
They're willing to do it, it's just can't do it.
Yeah, and they can't tell you can't do it. So...
And sometimes they will actually try to do it and not do it as well as you would want it to be done. And that happens also.
But I think you also take a risk if you ask very, very specific things of a company that's not listed on their website, and you are talking to somebody who is half a world away speaking in a completely unrelated language.
Call it alien.
I tried not to. And
it is alien.
You know, it has nothing to do with English or most European languages or all European languages. So you have to then probably allow for a slight chance of disasters.
Yes.
If you want something that specific.
If you want something that's specific, and they do happen. The Korean doll. That's the reason why the Korean doll companies are they have what they say we have what we have on the website, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's not just a language in how to talk to doll companies, but also the whole concept of. They're in Korea, they're in China, some of them are in Japan, and we think because they're speaking English, we think, oh, they understand what we're saying. But it's actually, you need to think about it in cultural terms. Can they even understand what I'm saying? And then try to communicate. So that's very helpful. I'm sure there's a lot more to be said on that. And some of you, I know some of you are learning Korean and Japanese, and some of you are learning Chinese, so kudos on you. I tried some Japanese, it's hard. And does require
Korean is also hard.
And yeah, I'm not even going to start on that. So thank you for watching. We hope that this was quite helpful, because sometimes there are these disappointed moments which may not need to happen. So hopefully this helps. And if you did like it, give us a thumbs up with a little like, and subscribe to the channel so you can get more vlogs about the wondrous world of ball jointed dolls. Bye.
Bye bye.